Welcome. The federal government has a September 30th, 2024 deadline to execute a zero trust architecture to protect critical systems and data. That effort includes specific cybersecurity standards and objectives. I'm Francis Rose from the Scoop News Group. Tony Plater is the Chief Information Security Officer for the Navy, joining me today. Welcome, Tony. It's good to talk to you again. What are your top priorities short-term, say over the next year or so, and long-term over the course of the time between now and that 2024 deadline to hit your zero trust marks?
So Francis, again, thanks for the opportunity. When we talk about top priorities, in the short term, what comes to mind is the Naval Identity Service and its integration with Dawn Flank Speed Cloud and the development of our Dawn Zero Trust Enterprise Execution Plan. So let me first talk a little bit about what is the Naval Identity Service and what's this Flank Speed. So our Microsoft 365 implementation is known as Flank Speed. Flank Speed is our core platform for extending our zero trust architecture across the Navy enterprise. Our Flank Speed initiative relies on a consistent and evolving Microsoft platform. So we kind of see it as a greenfield, and we see it as meeting or fully integrating into the eventual ZT, Zero Trust ecosystem requirement. Today, Navy users can access Flank Speed resources without using a VPN to connect to government networks. So that's a big step forward for us. This access is adjudicated using a combination of factors, device, location, authentication methods, which are key to the tenets of Zero Trust. And then Naval Identity Services, our identity credentialing and access management system, looking at a centralized approach, is the cornerstone of that ZT architecture. So our team is working very closely with the Chief Technical Officer in the implementation of NIST and those products that make up that portfolio, such as SailPoint, Radiant Logic, Ping, CyberArk, and Privileged Access Management. And they're all playing a critical role as we move forward. So in the end, so to keep all that on pace, we've initiated a partnership with the DoD Zero Trust Portfolio Management Office so they can evaluate our Flank Speed NIST cloud solution, which is hosted in Microsoft Azure. And in this partnership, the teams will compare the DoD Zero Trust capability roadmap and the strategy target level and the advanced capabilities I talked about to determine if we're mature enough and meet the technical baseline required to continue our zero trust journey. So I think our partnership will feed those lessons learned into our overall Dawn Enterprise Execution Plan. So that's just a kind of a summary when we talk about what's near term when we start talking about zero trust.
You've got a number of structures that you're working to implement this into. You've got the Navy structure, the Marine Corps structure. So those are kind of the main verticals. You've got horizontals too. How are you implementing a strategy to make sure that you get to all of the places you need to get to so that your zero trust implementation is comprehensive, Tony?
A very close partnership and close working with both of the services you mentioned, the Navy and the Marine Corps, and then that close relationship of working directly with the DoD Portfolio Management Office. We don't want to duplicate any efforts, but we want to make sure we're in synergy. So then we talk about, in order to do that, we have our development of the Dawn Zero Trust Enterprise Execution Plan, which I kind of mentioned just a little bit earlier, but then we want to apply that, continue to move forward to be able to apply that to all new and legacy information systems to achieve those capabilities and outcomes that you're familiar with that are identified in the DoD roadmap. We have to account for, afloat, ashore. We have to account for business systems as well as weapon systems. So it is quite a diverse portfolio. And we're starting, as we start with our business system, and we've started with our Naval Identity Service, and we started with our ERP, and we will continue to expand beyond that. But our execution plan does detail our activities that will guide us through that journey and those capabilities over the next 3-year planning horizon.
One of the challenges that you and your peers have in implementing a strategy like this, Tony, is you want to get the outcome. You want to get the zero trust outcome in this particular case. And you also want to avoid just making this a compliance exercise. How do you intend to go about doing that so that you achieve the desired result that the administration, that the Defense Department, and that your boss, Aaron Weiss, has for you without just checking off a bunch of boxes.
You're exactly right. So even if we put zero trust aside for a minute, the Department of Navy has a vision called Cyber Ready, which is being led by, as you said, Mr. Aaron Weiss. And it is a very high priority for us to get to a more of a readiness approach to cybersecurity versus a check in the box. And we have compliance and we have all of the requirements, but we want our approach to be informed by actual adversarial threat. We want to take into account when we are challenging and going out there and trying to fix our systems and mitigate vulnerabilities. We want to make sure it's risk informed. So we are on a journey now towards cyber ready with all hands approach to now look at how we can do things differently, because we know from history, we know from the past that the approach we have been taking is not bringing us the security posture we want. So we're pivoting from a check in the box to a compliance to a more of a readiness model. So that's a big emphasis within our department, and Zero Trust supports that. So our approach to Zero Trust is being synchronized in the perspective that Zero Trust says never accept and verify before you allow access. Use the pillars to understand how we can better communicate where we're going, what our status of our systems are on the Zero Trust journey. So we're trying to take both of those efforts, and we see them as putting us to a better security posture.
Those 5 pillars of Zero Trust, Tony, are where I wanted to ask you about next. It sounds like cyber readiness really is the codification, the combination of all 5 of those to get to the state that you want to achieve. Am I reading that right?
You are. That's why it was so timely that we developed the vision for Cyber Ready, that we're getting full support for leadership across the Don. And as we pursue all the tenets of Cyber Ready, we also have our enterprise execution plan, which details our unified approach. And part of that Zero Trust enterprise execution plan includes our target enterprise architecture team working on a design that addresses all the requirements found in the DoD Zero Trust reference architecture. So the target enterprise architecture provides us a clear path for a consistent naval approach to Zero Trust implementation. Cyber Ready helps to move us from this compliance approach where we know that we've implemented all the requirements, we just don't know how well those requirements are actually working to defend our environment. So by moving to Cyber Ready, coupled with our continued Zero Trust journey, we're really excited, and we think it's going to better help protect our information wherever it resides.
Tony Plater, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Francis.